the new hanging chain, the Red Moon style. What's it called? See, we have the cable. I could probably use that. There's the hanging chain that has no hooks on it at all. There's the new one that's got like a gear little hookup thing for like a pulley system, but no actual like hooky things. Let's see. I don't know if I have. Nope. Let's try the cable. Thanks, guys, for letting me know. I don't know what that is. You know, some days Twitch works fine, no kind of bumps or anything, and other days it's just very problematic. And maybe it's not even Twitch, maybe it's just my OBS acting up, because sometimes that goes wonky on its own as well. Wow, I have to really make this tiny. The only reason I was kind of hesitant to use it is because the table itself is dark. And the cable is dark. I was really hoping to use maybe something a little lighter so you can see it better. Oh, is that like floating out? It sure is. Yeah, I get that from my mom. I'm a hand talker. My husband says it's a wonder I don't know sign language because I have my own. But I just use it to emphasize. Okay, so there's his fake beard and his gnome hat. We might actually, you know, put another one down here somewhere. Let's see, what's another character? We've got the queen. We've got Snow White, of course. We have her dressed in a different thing. What I was thinking about doing is once we get the wardrobe set up, I might actually insert some clothes that kind of have those colors so that it looks like it's her dress kind of stuck into the closet. And the same way with the queen's outfit with the purple and the black and everything. So we'll see how that works out. But let's see, does she have like a bow in her hair? I can't remember. Yes, she has a red bow. Now, in theory, yeah, I do that on the phone, boy. I'll be like just waving away, and my husband's like, you know, they can't see you. And it's like, yeah, but it helps me kind of emphasize, you know. um, by rights, you probably would be better off getting the fancy red bow. But again, it's one of those kind of rare items that maybe you just can't get a hold of very easily. So the cheapest alternative is to maybe use the Chua pillow. Whoops, I keep closing the window. I don't mean to, honestly. Do it like this. And while it's not like smaller on the inside, you could probably, trying to think what's the easiest way to use this piece. Gonna need several, I think. Trying to see what looks the best like a bow. It's not exactly right, but close maybe. This is a little oversized, but I'm just doing that so that I can see what I'm actually doing. I want to lower that so we see the middle, maybe. Just a little more. And then hers is actually not just the bow, but I think it's actually got a band that goes with it. So you probably have like it's not that. Probably be really better to use like those Christmas package, the red string from that. Trying to think what else might work. Maybe the edges of the red carpet would work. Actually, let's do the edges of this. Oops, cancel, cancel, cancel. Do it this way. I think that'll work better. It won't look so similar. And I'll get away with using it bigger as well. Can't get the string to work. There we go, that looks better, I think. And then another one for the other side. Now she's got a hair bow, so now I have to link it all up together. And then we'll size it down to an appropriate size. I guess I just need to get in the habit of checking that silly microphone thing. I wish I knew how to reboot that without actually turning off the stream entirely. I don't know if there's like a plug-in reboot kind of thing. I just, with the OBS, once I got it working, I don't touch anything as far as the settings or the controls or anything because I'm afraid I'll mess it up and then I won't have it work at all. So it almost kind of looks like a bra, doesn't it? It's a bow. It's a hair bow, I promise. It's not a bra. Maybe, no, we'll just, it's a hair bow thingy. I hope that doesn't look too much like what it kind of looks like. So what else does Snow White need that might be considered an accessory? Her hair bow is the only thing I can think of. Maybe the black wig for her hair. Since I don't think we have any black hair for the characters. Well, maybe we do. I just look at always the orange and the green and the pinks and stuff. How would you do a black wig though? You need something kind of fluffy, maybe the tires? I don't know if that would work or not. Poor Malvolio, he's getting his... Oh, like the sun has finally come out. Because half my screen just went kind of like bright. Now I can't see anything. Like, let's see, turn it on its side maybe. Whoops, not 980, 90. Like Mickey Mouse ears, that's kind of what it looks like. Let's do this. Turn Malvolio straight as well. Okay, maybe not that way. Oops. Cancel. Make that a little bit smaller. I wanted to look like she has black curls in her hair. He's getting a makeover and all iffy. Not gonna be perfect. It's just an idea. Just a lot of tweaking and playing around with how you want it shaped, how you want it to look. Missing some in the front. I don't know how it's shaped. I know it's short, but okay, we need it more like she's got a part in the middle, I think. So whoops. I want that duplicated, not moved. Sun, go away. Go up, yes. And then this other side, sort of. One fun thing about the tires is it has those treads, so it looks like, you know, pieces of hair. Almost where I want it. That look like a kind of a black hair wig sort of thing. Oh gosh. The ideas I get sometimes even confuses me. Like what was I expecting? Ooh, totally didn't get that right. You can see me like I'm like I keep getting closer and closer to my screen. It's like I'm trying to. Part of it is my screen is so dusty. I need to wipe that thing off because I can't make out what I am seeing here. I don't know, is the lighting too dark? Can you guys see okay? Too bright for me, too dark for you maybe? Now, I know the back end is probably pretty awful looking. Excuse me. So I guess we need to fix that up because Malvolio's pointed hair at the back looks a little strange. Whoops. No, I don't want to link it. I want to duplicate it. There we go. Hey, Victor. Haven't seen you in a while. I've seen some tweets of yours, but not on stream for a while. Glad you could join us. It almost looks like a Princess Leia wig. Put some donuts on there and she's got a little dude. I don't think this side looks as smooth. Yeah, he's got parts of his head showing through. The object sizes are still bugged for you. Well, yeah, they can be a problem. Okay, I'm gonna just try and patch this side and I'll probably get a better look at it later when the sun is a little less. Okay, so there's her bow, her wig. What else would she have? I can't think of anything else that she's constantly with, other than the apple and stuff, but we already got that out there on the stage, so I don't think I need to add another one. She doesn't like carry a basket around like Little Red Riding Hood. The collar and stuff is part of her dress, so we've got that taken care of on the other thing. So she'd probably just have various bottles and things. So we have Dwarf, Snow White, the Queen. Who else is in that story? The Huntsman, maybe? I don't know what the Huntsman looks like. I guess he'd have. I don't know if he's got like. Does he always have an axe? I know he's got one in the newer movie, but I think in the original Disney movie, he's just got like a little knife or something. He's got like that little Robin Hood hat on with the little red feather sticking out. He might. Oh, thank you, Victor. I appreciate that. There's a lot more talented builders than myself. I just kind of, I'm a little bit more uh, visible, I guess. A lot of them don't like the attention, or they don't aim for the attention. It's not that I'm really looking for attention. I just want to help promote housing. So you see more of me and my junk than probably most people would wish. Okay, so I'm going to write down that we'll think of some things for the Huntsman. And I can't think of, maybe one of the fairies. Isn't there some fairies in there? I can't remember. Does she have fairies, or is that something else? I think that's Sleeping Beauty, isn't it? Well, then maybe we'll just do another dwarf. I'll just put some more dwarf stuff. Dwarf stuff. Okay, so we'll kind of push away from the dressing table part where they do their makeup, their hair, and that kind of thing. I also wanted to add in a actual clothing cabinet thing. We're going to use the travel posters again because, you know, that's my favorite thing. And one of the reasons why I want to use this is if I use just a standard cabinet of some sort, I won't be able to open it like I'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the cabinet so that most of the doors are closed, but I'm going to probably leave one of them open, and that'll give you a glimpse at some of the costumes. And that's where we'll put in like a representation of like Snow White's dress and the gown that the Queen wears, and maybe even a few other random looking bits that, you know, you would assume is like something along those lines, but maybe not necessarily. A costume is just kind of like the impression that there's something else there. So first I need to decide on a door size. So I think we'll go with see what 2 feels like. Again, I'm probably measuring to my character too much. Have you been using any of those, Victor? I haven't. I don't do like the arcade stuff typically, and I have a couple of the like the weird psychedelic wallpapers. About the only thing I'm using from the retro stuff is the sky. I'm using that for the exterior on this plot. Is that I don't even know what it's called. The one with the happy clouds. There we go. Looks like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Um, I don't remember what name of that is. Um, but the other stuff, it's too crushing on my eyes. The floor and the rug pieces that you can like make the little Pac-Man path, that just doesn't work for me. I don't have an idea of even where I might utilize that. Well, I figure some would use them because I think they come in a variety of colors, right? The housing or yeah, they're like yellows, funny blues, reds. I figure some would probably block off most of it and just hide, just use one part of it, like just the end, and do things like what Maddie did with the screens, just use them as like funny looking artwork or computer screens of different colors. But yeah, the way that they're shaped, it's a little funny. Not something for me. Well, there's the data cube, but I guess because it moves, it's not very builder friendly. Um, isn't I don't know if it's on the yeah, and that and it's renowned, but this one we have this one, but it wiggles. That's kind of frustrating, I guess. The only other thing I can think of is maybe using multiples of the green screens, but again, you have to buy the whole set, so that means you end up with multiples of the reds, the blues, the yellows that you don't use. Thankfully, they made it where so if you buy a pack, you do get all of the items onto one character, but they become account bound, so you can move it off. Whatever you don't want to use on that particular character, you can move it off to a different one, which is handy. Okay, so back to what we were doing. Get me sidetracked there. Okay, so I'm gonna put in a base. We don't want the doors just scraping along the ground. I'm gonna make it big, about yay deep. I don't want this to go wall to wall. Kind of putting it in the center, sort of. It's gonna look off center because of this gap here, but it's really not that bad. About halfway up, I guess. I don't guess the Datascape windows that you can get from what is it, the what's that called? Elder Gym vendor. I don't guess that would work. Yeah, I wish they would bring in more textures, like a wall that looks like actual red brick or yellow brick, or just non-textured ones. Like we have the blue ore ones, but it's got like a stone texture to it. I'd like one with just straight blue, just like plaster, I guess. Um, and I'd like walls without those little um, trims on them. Just have rectangles, squares, circles, just flat with no trim on them. I think that would be very lovely. Okay. Yeah, Exonite's pretty darn bright. definitely not for me. Let's see. I remember if I got that all the way out. No, I don't. But I wanted it all the way out. Okay, we're going to push that down to about there. What is that? 199.81. I don't know if I want it divided that way or I want it one long thingy. Trying to decide if I want actual doors or maybe just some kind of curtain would go across it. I hesitate to use the curtains because maybe I'd actually want to use them as part of the fabrics. That's probably why I'm hesitant to do that. Do it like this. We'll make it like double doors. I have to adjust the sizing on these things later. Leave it unlinked, I guess. Just gonna eyeball it. Actually, let's use this one here. I bet. Oh, for crying out loud. Nope. Red must be 1. And we'll make this one like some kind of shelving. I have no idea if that's really centered, spaced evenly, but it looks okay to me. And then for the back to kind of cover up this gap back here, we'll just add another one, kind of like what we did behind the glass to hide the mirror part that we didn't want showing. that rotating business would quit. There we go. Now I know that part of the poster stuff is showing. I'll just flip this one. Actually, I probably will just leave it because let's see, which side do we want open? I think that it'd be better this side. So we'll unlink that and open this up. Not adding hinges or anything. If you want to get that particular about it, that's up to you. We've seen some folks do that and it works out really nice, but I'm going to leave mine hingeless. Okay, that totally didn't. Now I shrunk this down so that, one, I'm not having to deal with it flickering at the top, but I still have the opportunity of hiding that picture on the inside. I'll probably be doing the same for here. Or I could do the same for here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this one. Let's just replicate that one. So, and then we have one closet open. Guess I need to flip this one. 7.9. And then we could probably use a sparking wire or some such as the little bar across. But what I think I'll do is just use, excuse me, trying to think, work. One of the staircases would probably be okay. I'm thinking the Protostar one. Because it has like a bar thing, but I also can use it as like a shelf up at the top for maybe shoes and such. It's just because it's stairs, it's going to come in slanted and you'll have to adjust that. Want it to span the whole of the closet. Looks all right. Like so. And then you could just hang your costumes here and have a little bit of storage space up top. Gonna need to replicate this one. Mine. Just to cover up the poster there. Oops. A little further further so we don't see the frame on the outside. And then of course we need to add some kind of handles, and probably what I'll do is just, well, actually I want to use something that I can use on this door that won't look funny, you know, like if I use the same ones I used over here, that'll look a little weird because the bottle would be showing. So I have to come up with something different. I guess a hammer would probably work okay. Oh, my leg's cramping. Been sitting too long. Any ideas to what you could use for lots of hair other than mops? Not sure if I can hide the mop handle. Lots of hair. What is it? Any particular color? Are you looking for yellow? Since I know what one you're working on, or does it matter? Trying to think. Go to the shopper. Now, if you have the privilege of hiding, like if you're doing a painting, I do want to recommend considering the corpses, because they have a variety of furs and things that might work for hair, like the tail of the roan here would work probably pretty well. This one maybe not so much because it's less furry. This part here might work well, even the whisker part, depending on what you're using it for. This might work good for like a oran tail if you're making an oran painting and everything, but I know you're not using a painting, so probably grasses would. Again, are you looking for a specific color? Because where is that? Under the G's. Like the wheatgrass would be good for yellow hair. It would just use a lot of them. If you have access to any of maybe the ropes, like the noose, this one's also good. Probably more like, this looks like a mohawk maybe. The hay bales and such, they're a little bit more clumsier, I think, but you might could use it for like for someone that's like doing a Goldilocks. The round hay bales would probably work really nice as the hail, felt hail instead of hay. Let me get out of the wound ones would probably work best for the curls, but you could probably get away with the large ones as well. The regular doesn't have the rope on it, and it would probably look more natural for like curls, and you would just keep extending them. I just don't know how well these show up at smaller sizes, so that might be problematic. I wouldn't recommend hay troughs because those come from the cash shop in a pack, and you'd have to buy multiple packs to get multiples of those. But the hay bale I think would work good for a golden hair or representation of blonde, that kind of thing. I would probably use this myself. And to kind of rough up the ends, like if you want to make it look like strands, I would like turn it to its side and then use the wheatgrass bits as the ends that go loose. And let's see, I don't know where those come from though. I don't know if I want to say it comes from a vendor, but I'm really honestly not sure. Other than that, let's see. Here. The ropes, again, the noose is probably one that you might could use super enlarged and multiples of it. But again, this one is a very rare item, so it's not very practical. I think the hay bales would be easier to get a hold of than anything else. I don't know, does that come straight from the vendor, the hay? No. So it's from either a regular like Reputation vendor or whatever. Well, then I would probably go with the hay bales myself. That's what I would opt for. I know in the past I've done hair with, I wanted like red hair for a little doll. I used the Bandit Dynamite for that. And of course, she just saw me use tires for the black wig. Mops are okay, but again, like you said, the handle's pretty tough to hide. Is it the Renowned vendor? It probably is. I think the hay pile, if you want something more rounded for the top, instead of using multiples of the like curlicue things, I think it comes from a rep vendor, one that's relatively low as well, I think. So that might work okay for you. But those would be my suggestions. I hope that helps. Trying to think how I want to do the handle here. I want it to be kind of out, like a cranky handle kind of thing. I think that would work best. And then you got to decide, do you want it like mid door, lower on the bottom half, close to the edge. Excuse me, I'm trying not to belch and burp everywhere, but I seem to be doing that. No problem at all. Happy to help. That's what we are here for any questions of that nature. If you want to ask about something else, that's fine too, but less likely to get an answer because I don't know. Like, I feel embarrassed when someone goes, well, what about, stalker stuff, and do you have any suggestions for this or that? And I'm like, I am the very last person you should be asking for help on that. Now, the reason I'm using the hammer as well is because it does pop against this dark cabinetry. It's really good for, again, you want to go for contrast. Look at that, that's not centered. Did I do that on purpose or did I just mess up? I think I messed up. Hold on. Let's, that should be about here. There we go. Silly me. Hey, did I? Okay, we're good, we're good. But when you're building something like this with a lot of cabinets and you're adding your own doorknobs and stuff, contrast is important because I've come across a few like kitchen cabinetries and stuff where I almost didn't even notice that there were actual handles or knobs on the drawers and stuff because they blended so well. It was like brown on brown, that kind of thing. So kind of avoid that. Always look for good contrasts, to kind of distinguish those parts. In real life, if you have a blue cabinet with blue drawers and blue handles, you see that better because it's closer. You can actually see the three-dimension. I mean, I know it's the game is a little different, but the contrast is important, I think. Probably just rattling on nonsense, but anyway. So we're going to just hang a few drapey things just so to get us started. so people will know what this is supposed to be for. And then we'll come back later with some actual modified costumes from the other plot. We'll squish it because, you know, like her dress, I've got it like really poofy. We don't want it poofy in the closet, you know. You kind of squish it up and smush it in there with the other costumes. So you know, maybe this is supposed to be a scarf or who knows what. Other things you could use for costume, like clothing, hanging clothing, rugs would probably work okay. Not necessarily for like, oh, trying to think of what I want to say. Maybe not necessarily as the visible part, but like the edges of it, it gives you an idea of there's other fabrics there. In fact, I could probably add some of these rugs to tailor shop as well. Now you could get really persnickety and make sure every fabric or whatever has some kind of a hanger. We've seen a few people do that. They've actually fashioned their hangers and things. Move this one this way. But I'm not going to get too, yeah, the curtains have their little wooden bits, but I'm not going to, you know, enforce that all. I'm just going to pretend that they're there somewhere. It's kind of like when you have cups hanging from like the underside of the cabinet in the kitchen. Some people will actually put the hooks or something that's supposedly the attachment part, and others will just put the cup there, and your mind says there is a hook there, that kind of thing. It's just like getting down to the details of, most of us don't worry about putting light switches or outlets for plugins and stuff on our walls. Some do. It just depends on how detailed you want to get. For those that are pinched all the time for decor space, they're not going to worry about those kind of details. But if it's a small little space like this, there's a lot that I could add in here. That 2500 that's allowed in here can really go a long ways to adding a lot of little details, such as the hangers and hinges on the doors and things like that. Okay, I think that is going to be it for today, guys. A little bit more progress. We've got now beginnings of a wardrobe closet. Again, I will be seeing about, maybe we'll start next week in moving some of that costume stuff that's from the other plot onto this one, because I think most of it is straight from the vendor, so it shouldn't be too hard to replicate most, if not all of it, in a way that will look appropriate for this type of a setup that I've got here. We'll probably add some kind of seating, like a little lounge area for them once they're costumed up, or maybe they're waiting for their turn to get costumed up. They'll want a place to kind of go over their lines or grab a snack real quick or whatever they got to do. That'll probably go here with other things that we can think of, but I think that's where we're going to stop today. Appreciate you guys joining me. I hope you had fun. Hope you come away with a few ideas for your own works. Again, this is for the CBDC for this month, which is the theme of fairy tales. So I'm just kind of going crazy with the whole I started with the Snow White dress, and I kind of built up a little theater for the Snow White story. And then we're just working on the actors area underneath where they would get their costume set up. So I'm keeping it pretty much themed towards related to fairy tale stuff, but it's a little bit beyond that. And I welcome anyone that wants to participate to please join in with us on this challenge for this month. You still have a little bit of time. The showcase isn't until the 30th. So yeah, it's close, but there's still some time you can squeeze in a little bit of, something, whether it be a costume, a setting, the building, a prop, whatever it might be, that's fairy tale related. So yeah, again, you can find out more details about that in the housing subforum. I've been kind of getting into the habit of posting the CBDCs there just to get a little bit extra exposure for those that don't follow me on Twitter or have yet to discover me on YouTube or Twitch. So, and then of course, word of mouth always helps. If you know some guildmates or friends that are into housing and they would, you think they might be interested in this little extra something to do, feel free to direct them our way. We stream every weekday, just about. But if you don't want to come for this kind of stuff and you're just interested in pretty houses, then of course join us on Wednesdays. That's when we do the house tours. Next week is Dominion's turn on Jabbit. So hopefully you can join us for that, if nothing else. Until then, I hope you guys have a super weekend. Good luck with your projects, whether they be CBDC related or not. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great day. Bye-bye.